Like everybody, getting ready to step into conference play it challenges you in a lot of ways, mentally and physically, and in your preparation, knowing that you're getting ready to play some of the best coach teams and best athletes and best rosters. So it's something that you get into this league for, and we're looking forward to facing what I think's a very improved Arkansas team for sure.
Coach, we'll start you off with Bob Hope of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Hugh, how you doing?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. I noticed that your Monday presser, you talked about Arkansas's offensive line being much improved, and Carmona is a big part of that. And I know you guys recruit him out of the portal like a lot of other teams did. I was wondering what you may have, what you like about him that made y'all recruit him out of the portal, and then what have you seen from him maybe helping Arkansas improve this season?
Yeah, I wish we would have got him. I liked him a lot. I thought he had really good feet and obviously girth and I know Brent Brennan's a really good friend of mine, and he was the head coach there at San Jose and had nothing but positive things to say about him as an individual. And unfortunately, we never got him on campus. Arkansas did a great job of convincing him to end his recruiting on their visit, but really, really solid player.
And then, DJ Durk and your defensive coordinator and Bobby Petrino here, they coached together at A&M last year. Now, maybe that happens more than I think, where guys face each other the year after they were together somewhere. But I just wonder what you thought about that dynamic, how that could impact the game.
I hadn't really talked to DJ much about that, other than, they obviously have some familiarity from their time together at a previous school. I think Bobby is such a good offensive coach that he probably changes from school to school based upon the talent that he has. And I think they look a little bit different here than they did at A&M. But and he adjusts just like all of us do, I guess, when you have some strengths or weaknesses. And so I don't know if their time together is advantageous for one or the other, maybe more advantageous for Bobby, because I don't think DJ's changed a lot. But both will have good game plans, and both will have to make adjustments. And so I don't know that it's a big deal, but certainly there is some familiarity.
Thanks, Hugh.
Yep.
Next we'll go John Zahner, the Associated Press.
Hey, Hugh. I'm wondering, we all kind of saw Hank Brown yesterday and some in fall camp. Last weekend and some in fall camp and everything. I'm wondering, how did he kind of measure up when you're looking at all season and how guys, whatever criteria y'all evaluate players on, how did he do, like, from start to finish the off season?
I don't think there's anything in Hank's life that, as a coach, you would look at and say he's been less than in his attempt to be his best. So whether that's, in the off-season workouts and strength training or academics, he's just that type of kid and that type of leader. Comes from an incredible family and prepares himself every single week, whether he's a starter or not a starter. Great teammate. And his off-season work is the same reflection of what you see from him every day.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Next is Nathan King of Auburn 24/7.
Hey, Hugh, another question about Hank. We talked to him yesterday, and he was, recalling his relationship with you and Kent, obviously going back a few years. You mentioned that you saw him first in 10th grade. I guess just what kind of qualities, did you see in him, making him, the guy that you wanted at quarterback, whether it was at Liberty and at Auburn? And then I guess when you got this job, what were those conversations? Was it a pretty easy sell to get him to follow you to Auburn once you got the job?
Yeah, well, let's make sure I'm clear. He didn't even start. Those were in camps when I saw him, and we didn't offer him. I don't believe he started until his senior year. He played behind some really good players now. And It wasn't until now we obviously had a relationship, but really it picked up when he started putting tape together his senior year, and we decided probably halfway through that season he was the guy we wanted, and that's when it really picked up for sure. And so was always impressed with him, but we as coaches can outthink ourselves, and you come to a camp and you do really well, but you're not the starter at your high school. That's not the easiest of sales in my mind. But thankfully we didn't hurt ourselves too much until we got to really see him put the product on the field. And obviously when we came here, I wasn't big on taking many of Liberty's players, but he certainly was not there yet and hadn't signed, and we were looking for a quarterback in that class. And of the one, we had probably 2 weeks when I got here before signing day, and just the familiarity and comfortability with him and knowing who he was and how he was going to go about working kind of made it an easy sell for me to try to convince him to do this.
Next is Andrew Hutchison of the Best of Arkansas Sports.
Hey, Coach, I know he probably won't play this weekend, but Walker White's the guy that there's a lot of interest in him in Arkansas. I'm curious if you could maybe give an update on how he's developing in his first year there in your system.
Another man, just he and Hank are two of the best human beings. They're in church with us every Sunday and are about the right things for our program. He leads that scout team probably better than any scout team quarterback I've ever seen, and wants to compete every single snap in that. And it's hard to say how his development's coming right now in the season because you can't get reps for everybody in your preparations for game. But I thought in spring, in the 15 practices we had, I thought he really came on and has a real chance to be a really good player at this level.
Next we'll go to Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. All right, go ahead, Tom.
Thank you. Hey, Hugh, when you beat a team the way you guys beat Arkansas last year, is there a psychological component to convincing the guys who were on last year's team that, hey, they improved through the portal, they're better? Is that an unsaid thing, or do you have to talk to them about that?
I hope I don't. I haven't brought that up. I think last year's last year, and obviously they have drastically improved their roster, and the tape speaks for itself. And when our kids see that, hopefully we have enough maturity to know that every game has a life of its own, and sometimes they snowball in rare instances in this league. And that was one of those, but that's not a common thing. And now they certainly are much, much better in their roster. And so I don't think we have to convince our kids of that. And I'll say this about Sam. And of course, I love Sam. I think he's one of the best guys in the business. But, boy, his teams play on the road extremely well. If you go back and look at the scores and so I think our kids know we're in for an incredible challenge.
And I was wondering how you think special teams might play a part in this game. You got the punt return touchdown from Scott last year in the game, but also in a lot of recent seasons, Auburn scored on special teams in this series.
That would be huge. I'll take it right now if we could figure out a way to do that. That's always a winning edge. If you can win field position battle on special teams or put some points on the board from special teams would be huge. And Tanner's done a nice job with ours thus far, other than we've had a couple turnovers, which is very frustrating. We got to get fixed in the return game. But that would be a big winning edge if one team could produce points on special teams.
Coach, that's all your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.